Hi! Today is going to be a major roast, and not because this video's quality resembles what my meal sees from inside of my microwave, but because of what you are going to see. And we are starting off strong with my first drawing I kept from when I was 6 years old. Interior designer right there. If you ask why didn't it turn into a career, I don't know. This courage of going straight with pen will never happen again. Okay, enough with this torture. I am going to show you 6 sketchbooks that I never finished. I have all 6 of them plus digital art. I never finished them mostly because I was drawing on loose pieces of paper. It was like a magic ritual throughout my childhood. I would get up, steal a piece of paper from the printer every morning and draw until the whole house gets up. Either that or I was watching Barbie/Disney movies. But because I didn't keep a sketchbook, all of these drawings are now gone. The one you are seeing now was a drawing pad my parents bought me for kindergarten, and I discovered it 7 years later in some cupboard in 2014. You will notice I wasn't really experimental over the first 2 sketchbooks. They contain front view girls almost exclusively. I had no idea of character design back then, and I didn't have to. I was still a child that was learning. The moment I started improving was when I watched Phantom of the Opera from 2004. It became my whole personality. I was 15 back then. You will see modern clothes for a few pages, and then BAM! Victorian era strikes. No jeans in sight. That's because I became really keen on historical fashion. Jeans are so boring to draw and hard at the same time. How am I going to design a character wearing them? No. I also hated drawing legs, so I wanted to cover them with dresses. I started reading about Victorian era and Georgian era, and I became this kind of weird kid that drops a fun fact during history class, like 18th century was really tough. They were covering their smallpox scars with stickers and had little hammers to hit the fleas coming from their dirty wigs. And I got looks of pure horror from everyone. That was my destiny all along. Looking at my art now, I realized there were signs. I never had enough, so one day I decided to create my own story. I was coming home every day from middle school and just write whole chapters. Girl, I wish it lasted. Perfectionism wasn't something I worried about, I think. Pure creation. At some point, I started putting it out there on, wait for it, Wattpad. But you need a digital book cover for it, right? So I started playing with GIMP at first, then Photoshop, and then people wanted book covers for their own stories from me. So I went, sure. And I opened a graphic shop with cues and such on Wattpad. I had so many clients. I also did it all for free, so that's why. Is it photo bashing? I don't know, because all I did was combine photos, I blended and erased the edges with a mouse, never painted anything on it. However, playing with Wattpad book covers in Photoshop really helped with my sense of light and shadow and composition. I had my favorite fonts, but also once I was in high school, I could recognize almost any font on shop banners, billboards. That was a curse. But I still see these in my gallery and go, wow, I did this. How? I didn't consider myself good at drawing, but I really wanted to create something else than the book I was still writing. So I made photo edits that were supposed to give the vibe of the story. You'll see a lot of Arabic influences on the photo edits and in my sketchbooks. That's because I discovered the movie Prince of Persia at the time. It was big cinema for me. So the book I was and am still writing is a fantasy. There are 3 countries. One of them is really cold, the other has a very UK type weather, and the hottest is 80% desert and 20% towns. The sun is deadly, there is sea trade, Empire Persia influences all over. So I was experimenting with the costume designs. I wanted the clothes to be practical, you know. You will see 2 characters getting the spotlight a lot, and they are Madriel and Tanet, my main characters. Now that I think of it, they were really Dastan and Tamina from Prince of Persia, but reversed. Madriel was really cocky and adventurous, and Tanet more reserved, suspicious. He was a teacher, I think, or more like pretending to be one. There was a bunch of spies. It was really traditional medicine focus, with Madriel being a herbalist. More like a soft fantasy. It's definitely hard fantasy now, with gods, magical creatures, and everything. Back then, I was really inspired by Akatsuki no Yona manga and the found family trope, like looking for specific people. Is that a trope? I don't know, but the third part is my favorite. So, Prince of Persia, Phantom of the Opera, Akatsuki no Yona, pirates in general, and vampires. That really inspired the story. It also had circus, pretending to be aristocracy trope, or like a plotline. This is a Western alternative universe for my story, and this banner says, "Ain't got no leg, ain't got no hand, no need to beg. Have faith in our brand," because they were selling prosthetics. It was so fun for me. The reader was really confused. I finished the book in summer 2019. That was a first draft, but it was huge for me. I was also studying in high school subjects that were supposed to help me get into medical school, biology and chemistry. It was really tough, and all in all, I got 13% on my chemistry exam in 2020. You need at least 80%. So before the university, I had my gap year. I was supposed to learn chemistry during the pandemic. But instead of focusing on chemistry, I was coping with the world situation by drawing. I took it really seriously. I was doing studies. Ethan Becker's videos really motivated me and helped me improve. For the first time, I began seeing my characters as I imagined them in the giant sketchbook I'm now showing you. I then was taking photos of my art and colored it with my fingers on Ibis Paint. Digital art was a distant dream, but I promised myself, if I can stick with this hobby, I will buy my first drawing tablet. And I did in December 2020. It was a screenless Huion tablet. Now I have one with a screen because I prefer drawing slouched on my bed, and I find that I can draw more and I'm more motivated if I'm comfortable. I was still developing my story. I am for 5 years or 6 now, and it completely changed. It makes sense. I think it's really cool. The world building stayed the same with the country names like Catalina, Morbihan, Darkhaben, but I was also considering maybe a challenge for myself to turn it into a webcomic. Turns out it's really difficult, and I have been developing it since 2023. It's like a tribute to all these characters. I wouldn't get to the point I'm at now if I wasn't so determined to tell a story, you know? Today I am writing and drawing the same story at the same time. It's called the whole series is called Three Isle Chronicles. The first season has 3 acts in book format. That would be all in book 1, and I hope to have enough strength to finish it. It's all in my head. Some of it is already in Microsoft Word, the comic in Clip Studio Paint. It's a lot of work because the story follows Madriel since she was 19 until she is 30. So I need multiple character sheets, interior design. I was a pro at 6 years old, so that's nothing to worry about. And other concept art. I hope to take you on this journey. If you'd like, let me know, and I'll see you soon. I am still scrolling for the next minute, so if you want to see the next 2 years of my art improvement, feel free to. I will keep you company with my weird gestures and silent screams. That was the silent scream. I'm still not over season 2.